What if I told you that I saw an animal whose upper part resembles a deer, the lower part resembles a wild donkey, and its head resembles that of a giraffe? You would think I am crazy or talking about a mythical creature. This was actually the reaction of Europeans to the tales of local inhabitants of the Central African forests who described this amazing animal, which they called the okapi. The Europeans refused to believe these rumors and dismissed the possibility of such a creature with those characteristics existing in the first place. They gave the mythical creature the name African unicorn. It wasn't until the early 20th century that the Western scientific community acknowledged the existence of the okapi as a real animal, despite its neck being much shorter than that of a giraffe. The okapi inhabits the equatorial forests of the Democratic Republic of Congo and is known locally as the forest giraffe. The okapi's diet mainly consists of leaves, grasses, and fruits. Unfortunately, the okapi is an endangered species due to hunting and the loss of a significant portion of its natural habitat through deforestation and mining. If it were to become extinct, it would indeed become a legend for future generations. And now get some snacks before we continue, and subscribe to the channel so that I can keep uploading videos. And now let's continue the story. The first time platypus sent the mysterious creature to Britain for examination. Scientists believed it was just a hoax, and the British scientist who received platypus body was convinced that it was a skillful taxidermy of a duck's beak attached to the body of a water rodent resembling a koipu. He claimed it was a new species of animals. I don't want you to judge that British scientist as foolish, because who would believe in an animal with a tail similar to a koipu, limbs, and a prominent part of its face resembling a cat's paw and beak? And on top of all that, it turns out to be a mammal that actually lays eggs instead of giving birth. These animals are known as monotremes, and in addition to the remarkable characteristics of platypus, it is a venomous animal. Males have a protrusion on their hind legs that secretes a type of poison. Moreover, it is the only mammal that possesses electric receptors, which allow it to sense the electric fields generated by the muscular contractions of the surrounding animals. This is considered a sixth sense for it, helping it in hunting or escaping from predators. Most people tend to imagine dragons as resembling dinosaurs. But the truth is that early historians used to describe dragons as giant serpents that would coil around their prey and squeeze them until they died. During his travels in India, the Roman historian Pliny the Elder claimed to have seen a giant dragon coiling around a huge elephant until it killed it. However, according to his story, the dragon died after the elephant fell on it due to its massive weight. Researchers suggest that Pliny was most likely describing the reticulated python, which is one of the largest snakes in our world today, sometimes reaching lengths of up to 9 meters, equivalent to the height of a 3-story building. In the early 21st century, a colossal snake was discovered in South America, which was originally a Korean legend called the Titanoboa. It surpassed the length of the giant snake at 14 meters, equivalent to the height of a 5-story building, and weighed over a ton. It had the ability to swallow an adult human without any visible bulge or swelling in its body whatsoever. The Kraken is considered one of the most famous sea legends ever. It is a giant monster that is said to reside in the Norwegian and Icelandic coasts, which are the original habitat of the legend. It has long and powerful tentacles capable of crushing even the strongest naval ships. For years, sailors would talk about their sightings of miniature versions of the Kraken roaming the seas. However, despite these accounts, no one has been able to provide concrete evidence of the existence of this mythical creature. In 1851, the French ship Alecton managed to retrieve a part of a giant squid that shared some characteristics with the tails of the sailors, particularly its tentacles and its amazing sensory organs. Scientists relied on the squid's appearance to explain the sailors' stories about the creature resembling the Kraken, especially with its peculiar appendages and sensory abilities. During the period from 1870 to 1880, several dead giant squids washed up on the shores, some of which were found inside the stomachs of sperm whales. Their bodies usually bore scratches and scars from their battles with the giant squid in the depths of the sea. However, most of the specimens found during this period were incomplete and in poor condition, which hindered scientists from accurately describing the squid. The first photograph taken of a live giant squid was captured in 2004 in Japan, and the first video recording was made in 2006 near the coast of California. As we have learned more about this creature, which can reach an average length of 10 meters and weigh close to 300 kilograms, we have discovered that it is not significantly different in its composition and characteristics from the legendary Kraken. The panda is considered one of the most beloved and famous animals in the world. However, it may be hard to believe that it didn't appear on the radar of the scientific community until the mid-19th century. Before that, stories and rumors circulated about the existence of white bears living in the mountains of China. But the scientific world wasn't convinced of the reality of the giant panda until 1869, when a sample of its legendary animal skin fell into the hands of the French missionary Armand David, who sent it to Europe. The first time a European scientist laid eyes on a live giant panda was in 1916. Hugo Weigold, a German zoologist, had the privilege of this encounter. Scientists in the past century struggled to classify the panda accurately due to its shared characteristics with bears and raccoons. However, with DNA analysis and geneticists' contributions, it has been irrefutably proven that the giant panda belongs to the bear family. While the giraffe was a familiar animal to the ancient Egyptians, the Greeks regarded it as a mythical creature that had no place in reality. They referred to the creature they heard about as the camel leopard because, based on the descriptions they received, it had the body of a camel and the spots of a leopard. The common belief among the Greeks was that this animal was the result of a camel mating with a leopard. The Romans began to encounter giraffes after capturing some of them and sending them to Rome as exotic animals for the emperor. They were initially kept as pets for the emperor and later used as part of the entertainment shows in the Grand Roman Circus known as Circus Maximus. The giraffe disappeared from Europe for many centuries and continued to exist as a legend based on the stories passed down. However, in 1486, the ruler of Florence, Lorenzo the Magnificent, received a living giraffe as a gift, which became the first giraffe in Europe since ancient Roman times. This event allowed Europe to witness a live giraffe and dispelled the myth surrounding it. Despite the terror and destruction they could cause, people have believed in the existence of dragons since ancient times. They became convinced due to the discovery of massive dinosaur fossils found all over the world, along with their vivid imagination fueled by stories and legends prevalent in folklore. Therefore, when rumors spread in Southeast Asia about the existence of dragon-like creatures in the Indonesian archipelago, some held onto the hope that the myth might turn out to be true. In 1912, the scientific community discovered the truth behind the rumors and gained a closer and more accurate understanding of the giant lizard known as the Komodo dragon. With a length of up to 3 meters and weighing nearly 100 kilograms, the Komodo dragon became known as the closest real-life representation of dragons. Despite lacking the wings or fire-breathing abilities of mythical dragons, it poses no less danger, at least within its habitat on land. The Komodo dragon is considered one of the largest venomous animals on Earth, with rough skin supported by scales and bone plates, making it resemble the armor of a legendary dragon. With its sharp 60 teeth and an insatiable appetite to devour any creature in its vicinity, whether human or animal, living or dead, even small dragons of its own kind, the Komodo dragon is a formidable predator. If you want to learn more about the Komodo dragon, we will release a separate episode on our channel. The famous Greek myth known as Jason and the Argonauts, which tells the story of a group of Greek heroes led by the courageous Jason on a mission to reclaim his rightful throne from his usurping uncle. Their quest involves retrieving the Golden Fleece from a legendary flying ram. Contemporary researchers believe that the depiction of the Golden Fleece in the myth was inspired by a real animal known in our world as the Himalayan tahr. The Himalayan tahr is an animal resembling a deer or a goat and was first described by Western scientists in 1850 after its discovery in its native habitat in the Himalayas. Despite the current widespread fame of gorillas in our world, until recently, they were considered more like legends. Western explorers used to return from Africa telling stories about a creature resembling a giant hairy man with immense strength and terrifying behavior. These stories were treated as mere myths and deemed meaningless without any evidence to support their authenticity. It is said that the first mention of gorillas was in the 15th century BC by the Greek explorer Hanno. He spoke of an island off the west coast of Africa inhabited by savage people with hairy bodies, whom the locals called gorillae. Decades later, in 1625 AD, the British explorer Andrew Battelle reported his sighting of a beast that slept among the trees, fed on fruits, and was described as humanoid but massive and frightening. The mystery surrounding gorillas persisted, oscillating between reality and myth until 1847, when the Western physician Thomas Savage obtained gorilla bones, including the skull, during his time in Liberia. He published the first official scientific description of the great ape, also known as the great ape or the higher ape. Around 10 years later, François-Marie Falluard became the first contemporary European explorer to observe a live gorilla in its natural habitat during his expeditions in equatorial Africa. In simple terms, until the 1850s, gorillas were believed to exist only in stories and tales. The frilled shark is closer to an extraterrestrial creature than a legendary monster named Tengu or the celestial dog from Japanese folklore. The frilled shark is a rare species of shark that typically resides in the depths of the oceans. It can grow to a length of 3 to 4 meters and is characterized by its reddish color, long nose, and a wide frilled mouth. One of its most distinctive and eerie features is its extendable jaw. When approaching its prey, the shark's mouth expands unnaturally, revealing a massive second set of jaws inside, resembling something seen in science fiction movies and alien creatures. This shark was scientifically described in the late 19th century by American biologist David Starr Jordan. It can be challenging to convince others that this shark is not a mythical creature without them personally watching a documented video of it. So, which animal were you imagining when we discussed it? Did you think it was a legend until you saw it? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more regular updates. We'll see you in the next episode.